Hey there, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have part 13 of my second impressions video series. You guys love these, I love these. It's when I come back to fragrances I've hauled over the last little while that I've had time to try out and really come back and give you guys what my second thoughts are, how I feel about them, and like mini reviews, because most of the fragrances I buy are blind buys and I do kind of unboxing first impressions when I haul them. So yeah, I'm back with the next set. I have some that I've just started to love even more, and there's definitely others that I have like mini reviews on and it's changed for me, and two in particular you guys have definitely asked about, so I'm gonna leave those for last. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. It's always in the description box below, and let's get into it. So I'd say the fragrance among all of these that's changed the most for the better for me has to be Eau de Rhubarbe Eclarate by Hermes. This I liked, and it was one that I tried. It wasn't like 100% of a blind buy because I know I tried it at some point years and years ago, to the point where I can't remember, because I tried this whole line in store, the Eau de line, and I remember I liked Eau d'Orange Vert. I think that one I really liked, but anyways, I didn't really remember what it was going to be like, other than the fact that of course it has rhubarb, and I've loved this one, you guys. I cannot stop wearing it. It has that quality that I've named, like, well, I actually haven't named it anything, but that quality where if I really like a fragrance, it makes me want to wear it the next day and not try another one from my ever-growing vast collection, and that's rare. That doesn't always happen, even with fragrances I love, and this has that quality. I have just loved it. What I find most interesting, and I'm going to put it on now, what I find most interesting isn't actually the rhubarb. That is great. It's very tart, it's fresh. It's what you'd expect it to be in the opening, and I would say still a lot of the heart, but near the second half of the heart and in the dry down for sure, there is a musk to this that you would not expect. I feel like with fresh citrusy or tart fragrances, if anything, they would end a lot more woody. And have kind of more of a woody base, or just stay fresh throughout, especially an eau de cologne like this. But this has a musk in its dry down and its base that is so unexpected, and I love it. It is not an animalic musk, obviously, and it's not a super clean like laundry musk either, but it is a cleaner musk, and I don't know, there is just something about that combination of the super tart rhubarb, and it is a tart rhubarb. I would say if you don't like the rhubarb in Delina, which is otherwise a very sweet perfume and floral except for the rhubarb, then you definitely won't like this, because it's kind of like a pure tartness in that opening. But if you do, like myself, love that, I think the musk is just like a really interesting spin, and I love this. I've just completely fallen in love with it all over again. So definitely recommend this. I picked mine up at Marshall's, as I let you guys know in the haul, so I got actually the gift set for a really great deal. It came with this, a soap, which I haven't used yet. I have no idea where I misplaced that actually, and like a couple mil mini that looked exactly like this, and I gifted that to my mom just because I didn't really need the mini, but I really love this. Can't say enough good things. The next one, it was love at first sniff, and it has kind of remained as such for me, and that is Vanille Banane by Comptoir Pacifique. I just love this. It is such a cheerful, happy fragrance. I feel like every time I smell this, I smile. It is bright. It's candied like vanilla banana, and I just adore it. I really like this fragrance. I kind of knew I would, and I really wasn't surprised. It wasn't like with Eau de Rhubarbe Eclarate, where I liked it and then I just fell in love somewhat unexpectedly. This, I felt like I loved it before I even owned it, and that has remained true. I keep this actually, my fragrances are housed, some of you ask, in 3 different locations because it's ever growing and I've outgrown every place that it's at, and this is in the grouping that's actually nearest to my bed. So I feel like before bed sometimes I'll just spray this on, massively spray this on, because I just really love it and it makes me happy. So that's Vanille Banane. I will say also, I forgot to mention for Eau de Rhubarbe Eclarate, it's an eau de cologne. The lasting power is not anything to write home about, honestly, but for me it's still worth it. And this one's kind of, again, it's not something I notice that's lasting incredibly long time by any means. It's an eau de toilette and it's quite light, but it's one that's fun to overspray. So that goes without saying. And then the next one is actually Allure Homme by Chanel. This I was very surprised about because this was kind of a more risky buy in that it was a men's cologne, which isn't especially risky for me, but from the notes, I thought it was going to be so spicy and somewhat unwearable for me personally, but it is not that at all. It's a lot fresher than I thought it was going to be, a lot more citrusy, even kind of clean and slightly barbershoppy without being especially soapy in any way. I really like this. I feel like it's a classic cologne that would be an incredible gift for the men in your life, or if you're like me and you wear pretty much everything, then I definitely do recommend. Also, I feel like I'm not as well versed in men's Chanel colognes, I'll be quite honest, but I feel like I always hear about other ones like Bleu de Chanel, and just other colognes come to mind when I've heard male reviewers or just other guys talking about fragrances from Chanel, but I don't hear a lot about this one. Maybe that's just my inexperience with men's cologne from Chanel, but I really do like it and I've worn it a whole bunch. It's really surprised me. So that's that one. A fragrance that actually wasn't a blind buy, it's one I tried over and over again in store and kept putting off, is Thank You Next by Ariana Grande. I mentioned before, I'll say it again, I don't mind the childish bases, but I hate that they're not attached. I know a lot of people like that they come undone because they only want this or what have you, but I'm gonna leave it in this anyways, and I feel like it just always slips out. Regardless, scent-wise, I've really loved this. And I knew I would. This also has the same quality that this has, where if I wear it one day and I'm just gonna, I don't care, I'm gonna spray this over this. I really like this. This has kind of in recent weeks dethroned Cloud for me as my favorite Ariana Grande fragrance. I feel like Cloud was always #1 for a very long time, and it's still a very close #2, but probably because of just the Baccarat Rouge 540 type of fragrances. I have a little bit of nose exhaustion with those, as I said in my video. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. This is why this one's just stepped in. It is delicious, sweet macaroon, whipped cream goodness, and I was really happy with this, and I'm so glad I picked up the larger bottle. A thing that I do just to kind of spice it up and use Cloud is layering this with Cloud, which they layer beautifully, and I definitely do recommend that. And if you want to see more about the Baccarat Rouge 540, there's a video where I talk about that layering option in specific as well. Alrighty, so the next one is Mancera Holidays. This I bought kind of out of season, but I really liked it. This really hasn't changed for me, to be quite honest. Right when I sprayed it, I knew I liked it. I knew it really was evoking of like summer holidays, and it made me feel like I wish I could have taken it away for a holiday this summer, or that basically I know that this would be a great one to kind of take away on a trip and have that trip remind you of this fragrance. It's just so evoking of that kind of memory for me. I have a huge 120 ml. It will last me a lifetime. It's quite strong. It has pretty great lasting power, and it doesn't smell especially like very strongly of sunscreen, in that I have fragrances that smell a lot more like suntan lotion, but it has an element to that, and it's just beachy. It's an incredibly beachy fragrance. I feel like something like Bond No. 9's Fire Island or Beach by Bobbi Brown are higher on the spectrum of being like suntan lotiony fragrances, which I know are very love or hate. This is further away from that, but it's not on that spectrum, if that makes sense. It's definitely beachy and has a touch of sunscreen-like quality to it, but I have like extreme sunscreeny fragrances, and this is just lower on the spectrum. So yeah, that is Holidays by Mancera. Then we've got another one that didn't really change for me, I just liked and I've continued to like, is La Femme by Prada. It's just it's a really nice, feminine, pretty office-friendly fragrance. I feel like this is a very quintessential perfume type fragrance. It's one that I feel like friends of mine or like family members who aren't into fragrance would smell this and just be like, oh, okay, it just smells like a perfume, because it's very floral and it's nice and it's not overpowering. It's not too sweet or too heady or too woody. It's pretty safe, and I feel like if you are trying to buy a gift for someone and you want to play it very, very safe, this would be a pretty safe option unless you have an idea of what they like. This is just a really safe option. And again, it was a great find at Marshall's, so I was happy to pick it up. Then we get to the last two where things definitely changed and I have more of a review on how I found them. So the first one's Sweet Oriental Dream by Montale, and this, I don't even have to smell. It is a powerhouse, and I was warned by all of you and the millions of videos on Mancera and Montale that they are beast mode very strong, but this one really is. I feel like with holidays, it has great lasting power and everything, but this can choke you out. And if it can choke me out, then I'm certain it can choke a lot of people out. And I made the mistake of overspraying this and overspraying it on a day that was quite hot, and that was a deadly combo. I had to spray citrusy fragrance on top to kind of cut through it, because it just was like enveloping me in a strong cloud of sugar, almond, rose mixture. And I really like it. It's powdery. It's definitely a sweet powdery, and it's definitely got almond. It's got a lot of qualities that I actually do like, and it is incredibly synthetic for sure. However, I've learned my lesson. This is definitely not to be worn on a day where there's heat. I feel like it needs cold weather in order to cut through the denseness of this fragrance. That's the perfect word for this. This fragrance is dense, and you can spray very, very conservatively and get away with it. And anything more than maybe 2 sprays, I feel like is a lot. And that is just lessons learned from me, because I do kind of go ham when I'm spraying, and that won't be one that I will do that ever again with. And then the next one and the last one is Dolce Garden by Dolce & Gabbana. I've talked to you guys about this. This fragrance really took me on a roller coaster, because it was very high highs and low lows. There are days when I was really, really loving it, and there were other days where I just was trying to figure it out and it would turn me off. And the thing that changed it for me was I accidentally sprayed this on my pillow in the morning, and then when I came back at night it was still there and I didn't realize, but it was just the dry down, and it was actually really beautiful. And I think what it is the gourmand quality mixed in with that floral isn't always my jam, but the days that I'm into it, I love it. So I feel like there was a lot of hype around this. A lot of people were, especially people who adore gourmand fragrances, were really into this one, and it was kind of like unassuming that they would be because it's called Garden. However, for me, I think I did like it, and on days where I'm in the mood, I'll love it, but I really have to be in the mood for this one. This isn't like an easy reach for me personally. And I feel like that about a whole bunch of my fragrances that I do like, that I just have to be in the mood for, and I wouldn't just grab it on any day. However, I would for this. And honestly, I would even for Vanille Banane or this. They're a lot easier reaches for me, even when they're quote unquote out of season. But this isn't that. It doesn't mean I don't like it. It's just not an easy reach, and I really have to be in the mood. And when I am, I love it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave me in the comments which one of these you've tried, which ones you'd like to try. Don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye.